Lars, would you say that you were born into BHS?
I always say I'm born in a box.
You're born in a box?
And the second saying I have when somebody asks me, so since when are you in corrugated industry? Well, for 53 years now. So I'm born in the company, like my brother is. So we live it, we breathe it. It is something what is on the family table every day. So it doesn't go away.
No.
But that's what we like.
But when I talked to some of your colleagues earlier today, also when I read about the BHS story, it seems that it is an amazing journey you have been on. I mean, from being a publicly owned company to be, was it your father that took over, or was it you and Christian that took over? I can't remember. It was 94, something like that, right?
93. This is where my father and his compagnon Ed Brother had the opportunity to buy BHS. And at that point of time, our father asked us, "You want to join the company, or shall I sell it again?" And we said no. We could imagine joining the company. We were just at university at that time. So that's where we started in 1993, having 300 people with a little bit more than 30 million euro turnover or revenues.
And that has changed a lot, right?
It has changed a lot.
Yeah. Can I ask you what did you study when you were at university?
I studied economics.
Economics, okay. So you have, of course, with that knowledge, you have gained a lot of knowledge that you could probably use also in your business, right?
Yes, especially if you think about, of course, you need to have a clear interest for technology. You must love technology. But on the other hand, technology today is so complicated in the detail that I think with one aspect of being a mechanic engineer or an electronic engineer, or today a artificial whatever scientists, I think you could not manage such a company anymore. You would be too narrow. So it's really good to have an economical background, a very open background, and especially a very international background, because we are a global company.
Were you also global when you took over, or was it more like a German-based company at the time?
At that time, we had 300 people more or less in Weierhammer, and I think 4 people outside of Germany.
So you can say that you were pretty much a German company.
We were a German company.
Yeah.
And today today we have a little bit more than 1,000 people in Germany, and the rest is globally spread. So we're a real global company, and we are in every little village of the world. So if you ask us if we are in Bangladesh, yes, we are in Bangladesh. We're in Vietnam. We are in wherever we can name it.
On such a journey, I mean, I take that both you and Christian has made, I wouldn't say errors, but that you have tried paths that you afterwards found out was maybe not the right path. So how much of the growth and where BHS is today, how much has been planned, and how much has been like a little bit of luck and a little bit of good merchantship and these kind of things? I mean, do you understand the mix I'm asking?
Yeah, a lesson what we really learned, this was in 1999, where we saw that we are not good in converting. We're really good in corrugated, but not in converting. This is not our area. And that's where we clearly said we will not go into converting. We just concentrate on the corrugator itself at that time. And we decided to develop our business globally. We more or less.
So it was a decision. It was not just like, being at a trade show and somebody say, hey, I can represent BHS, so that was like a sane decision, basically.
Sane decision, and also decision we do it ourselves. We don't go with partners.
So all the places you're represented is BHS?
Is BHS, more or less. There are few little places left, but that's also okay.
But that gives you a lot of control as well, right?
Exactly, and you can be much quicker in your decisions.
One of the things that I also learned researching for this interview was also that being a family-owned company with the patience you have in your investment strategies and developing the company is giving you a lot of credit. And I think that sometimes, I mean, we're going to talk also about the investment you've done in the jetliner in a few moments, right? And if you think of that, it is a project that has taken so long time from you were talking about it till you get it. Is that also something that you see with you and your brother and the management of the company, that you have the patience of of taking the decisions and then believe in the right move?
Yeah, I think we are long-term thinkers, long-term visionaries. Even I don't like so much the word vision, but we have a clear goal where we want to go to, and of course, and then you need to be quick. You need to be a fast mover as well, huh? But you need to have a guideline. What is your strategy? Where you want to be, and that's also what brought us to the idea of Boxplan 2025. We name it Boxplan 2025, so you have a frame where you can work in.
Yeah, that is a kind of the direction, right? And we're going to talk about that as well. When you don't like the word vision, why don't you like that word?
Well, it is very often misused.
Okay.
Huh?
So it saturates the value, basically.
Exactly. I prefer the word strategy. Yeah. What's the strategy where we want to go to?
What drives you as a human being?
As a human being? For sure, innovation. Innovation is fantastic. When you finally see the ideas, what you have developed, when you see them then working. I could not work in the banking industry or insurance
even though
industry.
That you have economy background, right?
This is, but really to see the manufacturing at the highest level of technology possible. That's fantastic. That drives me for sure.
Is work-life balance something that you're considering, or are you mixing it up?
When you ask my family, it is one thing. It's the family and the company. It's one. It's not two worlds. It's one merged world. Work-life balance. Of course, I also like to go on vacation.
But the reason I was asking was because I think that what you describe as the innovation and that what drives you as a person, and that the mix of business and private life is because it's a family-owned company, of course. But I was thinking that when you look at the time a person spent on what you do, sometimes it's like, okay, going into the details on should it not be red, or should it be blue, or is it more the grand visions of the market? Is it? I mean, do you understand?
It is both.
Yeah.
You need to be in the details, and you need to show also the passion for the details. Otherwise, you will not find with your colleagues the details which are necessary. And on the other hand, you need to have the vision. It's not one or the other. No, I think when you're a privately owned company, a family company, you need to do both.
When you look back till 93, 94, in that time where you, let's say, took control of BHS, from that time until you realized that from 99 you made the decision of going global, was it for you like a defining moment where BHS changed from something to something different?
Well, today it's a big company.
Yeah.
It has changed substantially.
But I was just thinking, sometimes it could be like we made that one product that really took the market, which really made us grow. I was thinking whether you have like that kind of defining moment as a recognition.
Well, one thing was for sure the setup of BHS in Shanghai. Yeah. This was that we were able to, first of all, to start our own company there. And we went there already in 99, so really early.
So that was maybe one of the first ones to position you as a global player?
Exactly, yeah. And the growth, and that we today run BHS Shanghai as a company totally on its own. It runs more or less, not parallel, but it runs offline from Wirehammer, because our Chinese colleagues, they know China the best way. And also our American colleagues, they know better America than we know, and we like that the people manage it locally.
So is part of your success that you have the guts and dare to give that authority to your local management, or?
I think we have the guts to give it to our people. Yeah. Otherwise we would not have a digital printer. Otherwise we wouldn't have our logistics systems. Otherwise we would not have these corrugators in its widespread. And last but not least, you should not forget also the life cycle service, what we do every day with our customers. This is a huge impact on our business. And I think that's what really makes us strong. And of course, also in the service field, we give a lot of power. For example, a young kid, 22 years old, he installs a corrugator worth 10 million. He starts it up, he brings it into power. You need to trust your people.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And the people perspective, I also know and understand that, for example, when the war in Ukraine was breaking out, you have a strong commitment to the refugees and to the society around your city and location. Can you talk a little bit about how important that is to you?
Well, I think there's of course a family history. My mother and my father, they both were refugees when they came to in our area.
Where did they come from?
My mother from Breslau, so it is former East Germany, which is today Poland, and my father from Czechia.
Okay.
And they both came 44, 45 in our area.
So just after the Second World War, actually in the Second World War.
In the Second World War already. And from there, of course, you understand that you need to help these people. Because my mother always said, you know, when I came here to this area, I had nothing. And all I got was education. And with education, I was capable of building. And this is also something what drives us in the family. It's really education, doing education locally, doing education always with the company globally, wherever we are. And last but not least, we also have a foundation. I don't know if it's called Angels for Children, where we run a school, or actually 3 schools in Laos, where we give education to Lao people. And when you ask somebody, why do you do it there? Then it comes again from the family background. Also my mother said, you know, I was lucky to end up here and getting education. So you never know where you end up, and you can help somewhere in the world and do something good. And we should give something back to the world.
That's a very strong message, and I would just say that I would like to work for a company that have these commitments to people. And I think that maybe that is also why you have people that have worked for BHS for many years, both because you have that appreciation of education and people, but at the same time you also give the freedom to people to make decisions and become part of the innovation that BHS is striving for being the best, right?
Couldn't have described it better.
See, that is how I do it, right? So let's move on to something that I find a little bit interesting. You and your brother, how do you get along?
Very well. Otherwise, we would not manage the company together.
No, that was what I expected. But I was thinking that is there any time that you, I mean, do you complement each other, or do you also have that competition that sometimes brothers have?
No, but we're different. And Christian will say the same. He's the talker. I'm not the so much talker.
You do it good.
Well, I can talk when it is necessary. But this is one thing, and I think this gives a lot of possibilities to reflect each other. And the other thing is I'm more concentrating within the company on everything what has to do with our markets, with our customers.
So you have kind of looked at the let's say the advantages of each of you, and basically kind of split the role so you don't step on each other's toes, but basically complement each other.
We complement exactly. And he takes care of actually all the rest, we always say, to make it simple. But of course, strategies and where we want to go, this we do formulate together. But you don't need to talk every day, every second together. You just have the understanding how the other thinks. Let's do it that way or that way. Okay, go.
That must be extremely satisfying. I mean, for both of you to have a situation where the agenda is kind of set and you both work in the same direction, right?
I think because we have this global frame where we want to be, and of course building the company for the kids to come. So my two, I think they would love to join the company, but first they should finish university and do these things and work a little bit somewhere else. They don't need to start in the company where I started.
But they can say almost that if they take over the company when you someday decide to leave the torch, they have 100 years of experience from the box, right?
They can.
So your kids, are they studying anything that is relating to this industry, or they get a broader perspective of the world?
They get a broader perspective of the world. For example, my elder son, he lived for 3 years in the States. Went there for high school, and now he's living in Italy. Also not so bad. going
So
there
nice,
to
right?
university.
Good wines, good food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also good education.
Also good education, yeah.
Uh,
And when you talk to them and talk about the future, they have an interest in BHS. And
Yes.
yeah, is that, I mean, when you took over and your father took over with 300 people, and now you are way bigger, so the challenges are maybe a little bit bigger again, right?
They're a little bigger, huh? But also I brought, for example, for this open house now, I brought my son along, that he sees our customers, that he sees the jetliner working. Huh?
So he can get a sense of what you're actually doing, right? Yeah. I remember I brought my oldest son to a filming event in the US, and he said, "It's so nice, now I know what you do." Maybe it's the same with So, I mean, that also shows a strong commitment from the family to be part of the future. And I think that is also because you have been yourself been so involved in the company and this kind of thing. And I take that you deliver something. I mean, I was just thinking that if you want to deliver something to the next generation, you do your best even more to make sure that it's in a good shape, right?
Of course, yeah. We should not give them a company which is in problems. We should give them education and a framework where they can feel, think, where they are safe somehow. But then they can start and grow and go their own way.
Technology. I mean, we talked about the innovation and being innovative and things like that. I mean, where are things moving with? I mean, one thing is the company as BHS, but where's the market going? Will it be an ever in growing demand for these types of packaging and these kind of materials, or do you also see that you will need to do some kind of diversification in your product offerings in order to continue focus on growth? Or
I think diversification for the moment is not necessary. But with bringing the digital print to the corrugator and therefore to the corrugated packaging is a big change for the industry. This is actually...
And also a big change for you, because I mean that adds a new dimension to the product offerings, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah. The digital printer is the biggest development project what we have ever done.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And therefore, it is a big change to us. But this development was the logic step which is needed for the corrugated industry. And you cannot print corrugated board in any better place than when you print it on paper and do it in the corrugator.
And that is interesting, because when I talk to your colleagues about the competition, I mean, as far as I remember, all of them print on the finished corrugated product, and that gives a lot of headaches in quality and speed. And now with doing it on the liner, you basically eliminate that bottleneck at least, right?
You eliminate that bottleneck. Secondly, you eliminate, because when you want to do it on converting lines, you need a huge amount of labor. Yeah. And when you talk to somebody, can you find labor? No, we can't. Yeah. So with this concept, we strongly believe that a box plant can do more or less the same amount of board with half of the people. And that is, of course, something that it's a good in a time where it's difficult to get labor, but it also basically means that your ROI and your repayment time will be faster. So that, of course, should be also interesting from a business perspective, right? Exactly. Yeah. And of course, then with the further opportunities, what you get out of this digitization, because finally you make the stupid box, which is the most economical packaging material, you make it actually the smartest and most economical packaging material. And I think that's the real interesting point, that we can really then track and trace every box. That must be exciting, right? This is really exciting if you think about it. And just a few more questions. One thing is that talking about the QR code and talking about the dynamics of a box, we spoke to some of your colleagues about both the advantage it has to the end users and to the brand owners, but we also spoke about the values it gives to the production side. But that can be extended even further, because, I mean, the entire value chain, we all talk about Industry 4.0, we all talk about effectiveness when it comes to everything from logistic solutions to
to the lines where you fill up where you use the material. So I mean, is that also something when you look at the next vision or the next strategy for where you want to go? Is that taking that even further in that route? Or
yeah, I think you said something very important. You mentioned Industry 4.0, which is for sure the right way to go, because that's what we do also with the digitization of the printing process and the digitization of the manufacturing process. But Industry 4.0 misses one point. That's sustainable manufacturing. And with the Boxbound 2025, you don't miss this, because you use less material, you have less waste, you have a smaller footprint for a box plant, and you use less resources. And I think this really then makes the difference. And this really helps the corrugated industry to stay competitive.
And that shows your commitment not just to your people, but also to your surroundings, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. It was fun.
Likewise.